At the turn of the century, young America, especially the Southwest, was threatened by an influx of deadly Old World epidemics. Preventing these diseases from spreading was of prime importance. As a man who made great strides against epidemics, Rex and stars as the Frontier Doctor.
Bubonic plague often started at the waterfront, such as in this small Texas Gulf port of Vista, not far from Corpus Christi. I knew that the Surgeon General of the United States had alerted all seaport health officers to be on guard against such an epidemic. On October 16, 1908, Vista was a bustling port which loaded livestock, furs, and farm products for Galveston and New Orleans. I received an urgent telegram from the port physician. He was a friend of mine I'd gone to medical school with.
Bill, I've got a problem.
Money? Women? Or medicine?
Oh, medicine. Now, when you were in medical school, you specialized in epidemiology.
Yeah. And about the only epidemic I've run across is measles outside of a little cholera scare.
Well, I've run into something a lot more serious. Step into the next room with me a minute. I've got a quarantined sailor in there. It looks suspiciously like bubonic plague.
Bubonic plague?
But I need your help to diagnose the case accurately. Now, you realize we've got to be sure, otherwise the news could panic the whole territory. Well, I was talking to him just before you got here, Bill, and
Delirious.
yeah. It wasn't like this 5 minutes ago. What do you think?
I'd like to make some laboratory tests.
Now, frankly, I've never seen a case like it.
Neither have I, but a microscope can turn up a lot of things.
I was going. Give me a stimulant, a tablet. Oh, Bill? Never mind. He's gone. So fast. We're still not sure what killed him.
Only an autopsy could tell that.
Now, just a minute. You can't come in here. This room's quarantined.
That's Timmy, all right. Mine, their first mate, never lived. I'm Captain Jason of the freighter Nancy. Timmy's family would want me to bury him at sea.
I'm sorry, Captain, but this man died of a disease that may be highly contagious. We've got to perform a post-mortem.
Well, you can't do that to Timmy. I'll take him to sea and give him a decent burial.
Dr. Baxter's right, Captain. As port physician, I insist this body remains here for a more thorough examination.
Listen, you landlubber. As captain, I got a right to take Timmy aboard, whether he's dead or alive, and you can't stop me.
Do you want your ship quarantined?
I'm loaded to the gunnels with furs. They'll rot in this damp climate. I'm sailing with the tide to New Orleans. Come on, men. Get Timmy out of here.
If you know what's good for you, Captain, you'll leave that body there.
Listen, you can't tell me what to do with my men or my ship. Now, take Timmy out of here. Get around there.
I can't understand why a sea captain would want to jeopardize his ship by taking that body aboard.
Well, I don't know, but right now, let's get out of here. Help! Jason's ship pulled anchor and cleared the harbor for New Orleans, all right?
I'm sorry to hear that. Now, we'll never be able to confirm our suspicions as to what killed that sailor. Ernie, is there anything unusual about the rodent situation here in Vista?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, you know as well as I do that infected fleas from animals can carry bubonic plague.
We haven't had a case of the plague in 20 years. What makes you confirm my suspicions now?
He had all the symptoms. Unusual swelling of the glands, dark spots all over his body. And he died awfully fast.
Yes, that bothered me, too. We've got to be sure. We can't start a panic, maybe riots.
Are there any other people in town show the same symptoms?
No. I usually see them when they're sick. Better let me make a careful check to see if we can find anything else out.
You're the doctor. Well, I've got to get back to Rising Springs. I've got several patients waiting for me, and one of them's an emergency.
Oh, thanks for your help, Bill.
Let's come over some weekend, go fishing.
Oh, you know how hard it is to get away from here.
On my way back to Rising Springs, I couldn't help thinking about bubonic plague, the worst of all contagious diseases. The Black Death literally wiped out entire populations once. My diagnosis had to be proved before we dared warn the people. And the trouble was, I could be wrong.
Oh, Dr. Baxter, I'm so glad you finally came back.
What's wrong, Miss Cook?
It's Hal. He's been badly beaten up.
You go ahead and I'll follow you. Somebody sure worked you over, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'll have to take some stitches. Who did it?
Jim Mosley and Rafe Stafford. They claimed Hal was trapping in their territory.
They were my traps, Doctor. Right on my land. And they both jumped me, and I didn't...
Don't try to talk. Just lay still.
He's been trapping to make a little extra money. You know how hard it's been clearing this homestead.
I'll have him back on his feet in a little while. You take these into the kitchen and sterilize them for me.
Yes, Doctor.
Sheriff know anything about this?
I don't think so.
The sheriff isn't going to know anything about this. It'll only cause more trouble.
Won't cause much trouble if they're in jail.
But they won't stay in jail forever. No, Doctor, please don't say anything about it to the sheriff. We'll manage without fur trapping.
I'll get back to you in a few minutes. Gotta let those instruments boil. Home looked pretty good to me after that trip from Vista and the session at Cook's ranch. I was bone tired.
We've been waiting for you, Doc. We saw you go into Hal Cook's house, Doc.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice job you boys did on him. Sheriff should be mighty interested.
You tell him and you'll be doctoring yourself. Get up, Ray. Doc wants to fight. Ray, get up. You're not hit that hard.
He don't have any fight left in him, Jim. That man's sick. Look at those big black spots on his face. He's all broke out with a fever. I better have a look at you.
You stay away from me, Doctor. You're going to get the same thing Hal Cook got.
Those insect bites on his hands.
What are you trying to pull, Doc? Every trapper gets bitten by insects.
Not like this. Those are infected.
Are you trying to scare me? Suppose you take my advice for a change. You stay away from the sheriff and don't listen to Hal Cook.
I still ought to examine you, Ray.
Sure, Doc. Come on, Jim. Remember what we said, Doctor. The next time that bullet will be right between your eyes.
Sure been acting strangely, Doctor.
Yeah, with all those stitches.
It's not the stitches, it's something else.
Help me get him into the office. He's unconscious. Mrs. Cook. I hate to say this, but I'm afraid he has bubonic plague.
Oh, no.
Hey, Doc. I heard about Hal. Thought I'd better come over here and...
do you call it, Doctor?
I can't be sure, but it's possible he's got infected by the fleas off of those animals he's been trapping.
With bubonic plague. Oh, Hal.
I could be wrong. I hope I am. But you can't take any chances. I'm going to give you enough kerosene and creosote to disinfect everything in your house. Sheriff? Hal's in no condition to sign a complaint against those trappers. But I want you to bring him in for a lot more important reason. I'm pretty sure Rafe has the plague, and if he has, he can spread it around.
I think I know where I can find him, Bill.
Sheriff, I'll drop over to your office just as soon as I help her take Hal home and quarantine the house.
Right, Bill. I'm sorry to wake you up, Bill. See, you're real tired. And the news I've got's not going to brighten you up none. I couldn't find those trappers.
It's bad.
I checked all their hangouts, asked questions, even threatened their friends. The only thing I could find out was they brought a load of furs into Vista and disappeared.
The Vista? That's the town where the sailor died. You know, it's funny, Sheriff. Hal's never been to Vista, but he showed the same symptoms that sailor did.
What's the connection?
Well, the ship that sailor came from was carrying a load of furs. I wonder if any of them could have come from this part of the country.
Could very well be. They ship a lot of pelts out of here, Bill. What are you getting at?
Common carrier. Rats in town, squirrels out in this part of the country. They both have fleas. They could both be spreading the plague. I'm going to take a little trapping expedition of my own in the morning.
Need some help?
Kind of dangerous.
It's my business. You get some sleep, Bill. I'll see you in the morning.
Night.
Good night.
The sheriff and I were carefully prepared for our trapping expedition. We made certain that fleas couldn't crawl up our arms or legs or faces, for the bite of an infected flea might infect us, too. We had to capture the animals alive, so we used Hal's traps. The alcohol that we used to kill the fleas would also kill the germs if there were any, but the dead germs would still be recognizable under a powerful microscope. Well, we'll soon know. They're plague carriers, all right.
Say, Bill, I wouldn't know what I'm seeing, but can I take a look?
Sure. I can see the connection now. It's all clear. There's been an epizootic in the woods.
Epizootic?
Epizootic, that's an animal epidemic. Rafe and Jim, as well as Hal, have been trapping animals infected with these deadly fleas. And then when those furs were loaded aboard the ship, that dead sailor had the misfortune of being bitten by one of these insects.
Sounds reasonable. What do we do now?
Well, first, we go to Vista. Warn Dr. Garrison to port position. And we'll telegraph New Orleans and tell them to quarantine that boat the minute it gets in the harbor. If those furs are unloaded, New Orleans might have the worst epidemic of bubonic plague in history. We divided our forces to fight the plague on all fronts. The sheriff and a couple of his deputies started to hunt for the infected trappers. Dr. Garrison searched the town for unreported sick persons, while I went to send an urgent telegram to the health and port authorities of the city of New Orleans.
Great. Doc just went to the telegraph office.
I need him.
We can't stick around town.
Give me a hand.
Right away, it's urgent.
Hold it, Doc. Move down, away from this window. You too, move down. Rafe needs you. Let me see that. Get a load of this. Port and Health Officers, New Orleans, Louisiana. Marked urgent. Important you quarantine on arrival the SS Nancy, carrying furs suspected of contamination with bubonic infected fleas. Suggest you burn furs at once and hold Captain Willis Jason in custody. Signed, Dr. Bill Baxter. Pretty cute, Doc. The ship's quarantined, we lose our furs, the captain goes to jail.
Maybe you don't understand, Doc. But Captain Jason's got our furs on consignment only. And if you quarantine that ship, the first thing they'll do is burn them furs.
Another thing, Doc. We've got hundreds of pelts here waiting to be shipped. The sheriff thought they were infected, we'd lose those too.
You've both got to listen to me. If you don't let me send that wire, thousands of people may be killed.
Let our furs go up in smoke? We got thousands of dollars invested in that shipment.
Bubonic plague is one of the worst diseases we know, and if it gets out of hand, there's no telling what'll happen.
Jim and me don't care.
You better sit down. Let me have a look at you.
Later, Doc.
Dead.
We're just making double sure that telegram makes sense.
You look pretty sick yourself, Rafe. You'll never live to see a penny out of those furs.
Oh, no? You go.
Walk straight up the street, Doc.
You're getting back in the wagon, Doc. Right. Watch it.
Get him back in the wagon. Next time he starts trouble, kill him.
Rafe's condition had become worse. Instead of going to their hideout, they decided to head back to town where they could get medical attention.
All right, Doc. Inside.
This man's in bad shape. Help me with him.
Help him yourself. I'm not letting go of this shotgun.
He's in the last stages of bubonic plague. Nothing I can do for him now.
Then you weren't lying about what you said back in the telegraph office.
No. You could have it, too. was a tough decision to make. Rafe would die anyway, and if I left him, there'd be less chance of him spreading the fatal germs. But I once swore a Hippocratic oath to help the sick, and where there's life, there's hope. I'd gone to a lot of trouble to save a dead man.
We've been looking every place for you, Bill. He's dead. Well, don't touch it, Sheriff. It's bubonic plague. What happened to the other one, Bill?
I don't know, but he's still in the area somewhere. They jumped me in the telegraph office and shot the operator. We've got to get a telegram to New Orleans and quarantine that ship. There's no time to lose.
Now get started. Hurry.
Yes, sir.
You're right about the waterfront. I just made a thorough check. Rats are dying in droves, infected with bubonic fleas.
And the best thing we can do is just let these old warehouses burn. It's our only chance to stop an epidemic.
Now listen to me, all of you. This place is infested with rats with bubonic plague. Just let these old buildings burn. You're crazy. Do you want us to lose everything? Don't listen to him, then. Keep those buckets a-rolling.
They won't listen to me, Sheriff. If they put that fire out, those infected rats will be all over town. You know what that means.
There's some dynamite stored in the warehouse. I'll use it to scare them off.
Let's get out of here. The sheriff's going to blow these warehouses up.
Well, this man's still a carrier. He's got to be buried.
I'll help you.
This was your idea. We'll all be out of work now. We ought to lynch him. Hold on.
What we did for everybody.
Let's rush him, then.
You do and I shoot. Doc! Doc!
You better help him, Doc. He's burned.
Help me.
This man's not discolored from fire and smoke. It's a Black Death, the bubonic plague. This could have happened to all of you. Now, if you want to stay alive, clean out the rest of these warehouses and wharves and kill every rat that hasn't been burned.
You heard the Doc. Come on.
We've got the wire off to New Orleans, Sheriff. Thanks.
The SS Nancy was quarantined in New Orleans and the captain arrested. Our big job then was to round up the infected animals in the woods near Rising Spring. On November 15th, 1908, an epidemic of bubonic plague was stopped with the efficient aid of the U.S. health authorities. Hal Cook, because of the devoted care of his wife, Evelyn, fully recovered. This was the last case of bubonic plague I saw in the area.